In today's mental health check, you've heard the saying, it's better to give than receive. But for some people, the mere thought of holiday spending might have them feeling a bit stressed and anxious about their finances. Joining us now to discuss, family psychologist Jennifer Hartstein and editor-in-chief of Investopedia, Caleb Silver. Thank you both so much for being here. So some folks have already started their holiday planning and shopping, which means some financial anxiety already creeping up. Caleb, any tips for tackling that?
Yeah, talk about it with your family. Say, let's set a budget together as a family for this season. We don't want to overspend. Let's live within our means. Let's maybe set a spending limit, but also think about things other than things that you can buy. Maybe it's experiences. Experiences sometimes are much better than an actual gift, which doesn't have the permanency of it. But also think about, if you are going to buy those gifts, setting price alerts for the gifts you're thinking about buying for your loved ones. Sometimes those prices come down. You want to be all over that. And when you do that spending, credit cards, credit card rewards, use those as much as possible. Feels so good to buy something with rewards points rather than laying out the credit or the cash.
Right, a bang for your buck. And it is kind of ironic, like the holidays, when you think about them, they're meant to center peace and joy and giving. And yet, it still brings out a lot of stress in people. So, Jen, any tips for that? What is it that brings out so much anxiety?
Well, I think we've lost the thread of what the holiday is about, right? I think we've gotten into what's the biggest, what's the best, how can we show it off, versus connection, peace, love, kind of bringing that joy back in. We've kind of forgotten that in a lot of this for ourselves. And I think if we can get back to that, maybe some of that stress can come down.
Yeah, centering, also planning. And Caleb, you recommend people use credit cards for holiday spending. Is that right?
Yeah, if you can, especially if you have rewards or the cash back. Nice to get a little cash back if you're putting out for those gifts. So use that if you can. But also think about how much you're going to be able to spend. And it's also a great time. I know it's stressful, but to think about resetting yourself for the next year before the big holiday spend and before the shame spending that goes on. You don't need to feel that way. Know where you are. Know what it costs to be you during the course of this year, and set yourself up for a good start to the new year. You're going to enjoy the holidays a lot more.
And you mentioned investing in experiences. What does that mean? Because I think people know about the tangible gifts.
Sure.
What are you talking about?
Take the family ice skating, go bowling, go for a hike, do something totally different that you wouldn't normally do together as part of the celebration versus your box is over there, yours is over there, and yours is over there. Do something that you'll all remember together. Take some cool pictures. Create that type of an environment versus the expectation that you're going to get something like a present or a toy.
Create memories, right? Then things don't get shoved on a shelf and forgotten.
Yeah.
But the memory is something that you hold on to for a long time, and that's something that they can grow with.
I love that. And Caleb, you mentioned shame spending, and I'm mindful that sometimes you might get a gift that you can't afford, and you might feel a little awkward about it. How do we overcome some of that guilt?
So guilt and shame are not the same, but we use them interchangeably. And kind of guilt is how we feel about somebody else's something that we did to someone else, and shame is how we feel about something for ourselves. So if we're overspending, that's our shame, right? But if I feel like I'm doing it because I had to, or because you expected it of me, or and then I didn't do it, there's the guilt. So how can you say no? What do you need to do to center yourself and say, what is it possible for me to do right now? No is a full sentence. We've talked about this before. What are my limits? What are my boundaries? And how can I be okay with that? You can give me something really expensive because it works for you, but that doesn't have to work for me.
So you're saying people shouldn't feel pressured. If they get something pricey, you don't have to just match the energy.
Right. If you do feel pressured, notice it and kind of just say, hey, I really appreciate what you gave me. I can't reciprocate in kind. Here's what I can do. And just be honest about it.
And as we're talking about high costs, like you mentioned, okay, we can use the credit cards. I love shopping, but sometimes when you see that balance, that's not so fun. So how do we manage credit card debt, especially in this season?
Yeah, great question. Maybe have that preset spending limit, set it for yourself, or get the card that has the preset spending limit so you don't go above it. And also set up alerts so that if you're drifting outside of your budget for the holiday season, whether it's for a trip, whether it's for gifts or putting a big dinner together, be aware of that. It's okay to do it, just be aware of it so you can adjust in other ways and don't feel so bad about it. This is a time of a lot of pressure. You're going to hear about how much we're all expected to spend. Spend what you can, but create an awesome experience and don't let the financial shame and the guilt drag you down this holiday season.
Yeah, and I feel like as you get older, the circle of gift giving gets wider. It used to just be my family, and now all of a sudden there's office parties, there's friend parties. So I wonder for both of you, what's sort of your go-to, whether it's office gift, white elephant gift, and just your mindset around it?
I mean, I think it's about having an open conversation and an open and honest dialogue about what's the limit. And stay in the limit, right? Hey, we're going to have 20 people here, no more than $15. That's it. And I think that's a really important guide.
Yeah, I like that as well. How about a nice handwritten card? Maybe a drawing. I like to buy wine for people, buy a case, give a bottle out if I can here or there. But I think it's the genuine gift giving, why you're giving to somebody, and that feeling that comes across that's much more important than how much you spent on it.
I love it. Well, that was a setup, so I'll be looking for my gift from both of you.
It'll be pink.
Are you
shortly.
registered?
Caleb Silver, Jen Hartstein, thank you both so much. And thanks for being with us. We got a lot more news ahead. You're watching NBC News Daily.